Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!
All right, welcome to Ages of Rock podcast, and we are now in episode 20. Imagine that. We've been here now 20 weeks.
We've actually been here 22, but we can't count.
That's true. We've had to...
Because somebody keeps having to miss episodes.
Well, we've all had some issues that we had to deal with. But anyway, this issue...
That's a long time.
It is. It is a long time. It's awesome. But like I said, we've got... Instead of just getting into the little... I think we talked enough last week, just random crap. So we're going to get back into a topic this week. And we had a lot of response from our last topic that we did. And this is number 2 of 3. And we're going to go through the KISS discography. Did I say that right?
Discography.
Well, the discography. There we go. It's ology. It's a Kissology thing. But anyway, we're going to go through the
KISS records.
There we go. We're going to go through the second portion of the catalog. How's that? Of the KISS catalog. And like I said, we left off at
Alive 2.
Alive 2. So we're going to start out, and that was in the beginning of 1978. And at that point, KISS sit back and they devised a devious plan to basically yeah, it's like the guy on Iron. They were going to steal all the money from every kid in the nation that summer. So what did they do? Right after Alive 2, they put out double platinum.
Their first greatest hits.
So basically, a greatest hits with one extra song. It was Strutter 78, which is basically a strutter with a little bit different drum beat. Bill's locked up.
Bill's stuck with his finger in his eye.
Is he still there?
Well,
anyway.
We'll let him hang. Oh, there he goes.
There he is.
Maybe.
Turn my mic off. I was laughing.
That's great. That's awesome.
Alan got me busted up. I'm sorry.
So anyway, this really devious plan that they had was to steal all my money that summer.
You're still frozen, Bill.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep going.
There you go.
There you are. He's
there you
back.
Go.
Am I stuck?
Anyway, no, you're not now.
Okay.
You're stuck in the middle with us. Anyway.
Wrong band. Wrong band.
Anyway, so that summer they devised a plan to steal all of our money. So what did they do? They put out a double, basically greatest hits with one song on it. And they said, you know what? A double album for 13-year-old kids just isn't enough. So what are we going to do? Let's all put out solo albums. So that's 4 more albums. So in 1978, we're going to make kids in America buy 6 KISS albums in 1 year. No band's ever done that before. No band's ever done it since. But we all fell for it. So anyway, we're going to look at now, starting with, we're just going to skip over double platinum. It's basically a greatest hits.
Well, you can skip over it, but I've got something to say.
Go ahead.
We don't skip over it.
I didn't buy it. So there you go. I actually got an 8-track of it years later in a bargain bin for like $1 or something. So,
well, basically the only thing that I have to say is the version of Calling Dr. Love, Firehouse, and Black Diamond on there I like better than on the original releases. Back to you, Dennis.
Did they re-record those songs?
They didn't re-record it though.
Well, they didn't re-record, but they did some cutting and pasting on the
They
endings.
might have just re-edited.
It was re-edited somehow. Now, they did re-record Strutter.
Right.
Yeah,
that
because
was the one that was done, but
that was Strutter 78, right?
There's something different with Hard Luck Woman on double platinum that's different enough from Rock and Roll Over that if you pull them into an audio
I think they
track
got a
together,
ghost singer. That was it.
or a ghost drummer. No, but if you put them in a track together, you can hear the drum beat get off. So they you hear the drum beat deviate.
Okay. Because I haven't listened to double platinum in years. I mean, I had it on 8-track. So if that tells you anything, I haven't had an 8-track tape player in God knows how long. But
Since
I don't have
1983.
I don't have an option to listen to double platinum, and I won't run out and buy one right now. So
I have the LP, but I didn't listen to it for this because I'm not wasting my time on.
Yeah, I'm not a big greatest hits guy anyway. I pass over those easily if I have to. All right, so anyway, we're going to jump into these 4, count them 4 solo albums. Now, I'm going to bring these up, and I thought about the way to do this, and I'm going to bring them up in the order that I bought them. Since I'm hosting, I'm going to call the shots on this. Anyway, the first one that I bought was...
You call me a dick.
Yeah, no shit. The first one I bought, and I did buy it for... I mean, I wanted this. This was the one that I wanted.
Peter Criss?
No, it was Gene Simmons. No, you're gonna. There's some surprises on this tonight. All right. So anyway, I bought Gene Simmons. Like I said, all these came out in September 18th of 1978. All 4 of them came out. They shipped actually all of them 1 million copies apiece. I think they got a lot of them back. Some of them were on the sides.
They shipped them at platinum, and
no,
they actually are at less than gold.
Exactly. Like I said, Gene's came out. Like I said, he had a lot of extra people on his album. It actually reached number 22. It wasn't the highest charting of the 4, but on Billboard 200 chart, it came into 22nd. The track listing on that started out with Radioactive, Burning Up with Fever, See You Tonight, Tunnel of Love, True Confessions, Living in Sin, Always Near You, Nowhere to Hide, Man of a Thousand Faces, Mr. Make Believe, See You in Your Dreams, and the unforgettable Wish Upon a Star. I got this record home and I was like, this is going to be the greatest thing ever, and turned it on to Radioactive, and that first part, I even forgot about that. It's been so long since I listened to it. Mm-hmm. I forgot about that intro, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. And then it came into that song, and I'm like, oh. Yeah. And to me, this record, it's become actually to me it's the worst of the 4. After this week of listening to these again, it dropped from 3 to 4. I do like Always Near You, Nowhere to Hide, but other than that, I think it's a shitty album. And the thing is he's got so many of these extra people on it, and that it doesn't make sense. It's just a bunch of random, and it's oversang, it's overproduced. It's just, I don't know. It dropped another slot on me this week. So, what do you guys think, Alan?
Well, with the exception of the intro to Radioactive, that is probably my favorite song on that album.
Right.
I also like Burning Up with Fever.
Right.
See You Tonight. I actually didn't appreciate that song until it came out on Unplugged. Right. But I like that one. I do like his remake of See You in Your Dreams and Man of a Thousand Faces. So right. I guess I like about half of that album.
Okay.
And I would say, well, after listening to them today, it slipped from number 2 to number 3 for me.
It was a number 2 for you then?
It was a number 2 for me, yes.
Wow. Okay. Bill?
Always been number 3 and still remains number 3 after I listened to all 4 of them again in the last couple of days. I really liked a lot of it. I mean, I listened to it and the skip factor, right? So Billy right. that was talking about the skip factor?
Right.
And, so it's, I thought about that afterwards, and I didn't really catch anything that I thought was skip factor stuff except for, When You Wish Upon a Star. I just can't stand it. It just, right. It's so not right. I can't stand it.
Right. That's the demon. Come on.
Yeah. It just really, ugh. But I thought some of it was, I thought some of the tunes are kind of Beatle-ish. I mean, right. The way he did rearrange some of where they were rearranged a little bit, and I think that's just because he's a big Beatles fan. I think that was right. That was some of it. So to me, it kind of sounded early 70s, some of it, but yeah, it was okay. I mean, it's a 3.
See You in Your Dreams is a flat out Beatles,
right?
Beatles-esque song.
Yeah. So it's definitely a 3.
See, for me,
Yeah,
I
4.
thought, I mean, I like his. Actually, I can actually live with "Man of a Thousand Faces" and "Mr. Make Believe." I like his acoustic type slower songs. I just thought a lot of it sounded hokey. I mean, I don't know. It's just, but Gene's songs are always kind of that way. I mean, his asshole album was the same way. It's just hokey. It's not. I don't know.
Well,
You
I like
either
see
get
it. I
God
like
of
See It
Thunder,
Tonight.
you either get
What?
God of Thunder, or you get God of Macaroni and Cheese.
Exactly. You got it, and that's what I don't understand about that. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Sin at the Holiday Inn.
But we
so
still
anyway,
love you, Gene.
yeah.
Don't
And well, like
fret.
I said, no, Gene, unfortunately, he dropped the number. He dropped a number 4 on the list to me this week with
There's
that.
no
After
way
this,
he's 4.
yeah, it was 4.
He's
Anyway,
no freaking way he's 4. No freaking way.
the
I,
second,
I
the
have a
second album.
feeling that we all have the same number 4.
No, we
Well,
don't, because
no, I just
Dennis is
said. I
drunk.
just told you.
Oh, duh.
No, I just told you, and I'm not drunk. No, okay,
Alan
the
is
second
not paying
album.
attention. Who would have thought that?
The second album that I bought of the solo albums was actually Peter Criss, and the only reason that I bought it second was the fact of that I was buying.
Was it like a slow, like were you
No.
getting waterboarded?
I was buying my records in a very small hokey town in a little department store. So
because everybody else was buying all the other ones, that's all you could find.
being that I wasn't Trump's son and had a shit gob of money, I had to actually save my money. So I bought Gene's first. Another week later, I went up to get another album. At that time, Peter's was the only one in the bin. So I bought Peter's.
It's because it sucks.
But anyway, Peter's album was released the same day, of course. It actually reached 43. It was the lowest charting. Imagine that of the bunch. Track listing: "I'm Gonna Love You," "You Matter to Me," "Tossing and Turning," which was a remake. "Don't You Let Me Down," "That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Likes," "Easy Thing," "Rock Me Baby," "Kiss the Girl Goodbye," "Hooked on Rock and Roll," and "I Can't Stop the Rain." I listened to this thing yesterday, and it's not a Kiss record. I mean, if you're thinking it's going to be a Kiss record, it's not.
No.
But it's not a bad album. And that's the reason that I put it above Gene's, because except for maybe a couple songs on here, I like the songs. And if you start looking at the album, I was looking back, he had Steve Lukather play on some of these tunes. I mean, and a lot of these, and I read too that a lot of these songs were actually written in probably early 70s, 71. It was a band called Lips that he was in, that a lot of these tunes were actually written years ago and before this was actually recorded. Like I said, it's not a Kiss album, but Peter's always said, he's a swing kind of drummer, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? That's the kind of music you're going to get out of him. And it's not a bad album. I mean, it's just not a Kiss album.
Well, that was the first solo record that I listened to this morning in preparation for this, and I agree with you. It's not a bad album, but
Right.
It's not a Kiss album.
Right.
Now, when I was a teenager, I listened to this album an awful lot
Right.
because I really did like it. And then I went through a period where just one day I listened to it, and I'm like, what in the hell is this? I think that it was this isn't Kiss, so it's not getting listened to.
Right.
I went through that phase, but today is actually the first time that I've listened to it in probably 5 years at least.
Right.
But I kind of got another appreciation for it again. But it's still in the solo album spectrum. It's my number 4.
Right.
Yeah, solo album perspective, number 4, for sure. And it's got a couple of songs on there that I think are worth listening to. Definitely not a Kiss record. Definitely the stuff that you would expect him at his age at the time.
Right.
To be really kind of into, I think, in where his background was. With, you were talking about the swing thing,
Right.
but it just wasn't. That's why his career didn't take off after Kiss was over.
Well, of course, you can't sell it.
He wasn't doing anything that people were listening to.
Right.
And,
those are songs that were done in the 70s anyway. So you're talking, it's already.
And I think some of the stuff wasn't even 70s stuff.
No.
Some of the stuff on here is, earlier than that. So it just didn't, I don't know. It just didn't resonate with me then. And I tried to listen to it last night, and I just got so far. I was like, I cannot take it anymore. I just gave up.
Yeah. Well, that's
I gave up on that, and I gave up on the other worst album ever.
Okay, I know what you're going to talk about, but we'll talk about that later.
We'll get there.
Actually, I will listen to Peter Criss long before I will listen to that other one.
But something that you just said, Alan, it was kind of interesting. That's kind of way the Gene Simmons album hit me last night. I used to like that album. I had no problem with it. I listened to it, and I'm listening to it till last night. Actually, just sitting and not doing other things, just listening to it, and I'm like going, what the hell? What was I thinking? I had kind of those WTF moments last night with that album, and that's why I dropped it down to 4 because I was like, man, maybe it's not as good as I thought it was at some point. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, I texted you guys last night and said I'm listening to this Gene Simmons album. And Lisa comes in, she goes, "What are you listening to and why?" I'm doing research for the show. I have to listen to it, and she said, "Why?"
Because you're dedicated, damn it. That's what we
because I made a commitment to these buffoons that I would.
I resemble that statement.
That's exactly right.
We all had to suffer. Trust me, we all. And I tell you what, the next third is going to be the worst for me. I'm going to suffer a bunch through that one. But anyway, my third album and the third of the solo albums was Ace Frehley. Now, this is one of the ones that I do like. Number one, it's my number 2 album of all the solo albums in my own deal. It was actually on the top 100. It was 13. And also then what was it? The New York Groove hit number 11, I think. That's what it said. And then let's see, track listing. Let me go back to what the hell's going on here.
Did they release a song off each one of the albums? Because I don't remember there being a Peter song being released.
I know when they did the Dynasty tour, they did Tossin' and Turnin'.
Tossin' and Turnin' was the one that they did.
They all did one song off the solo album.
Yeah.
It was Radioactive. They did.
Remember
New York Groove.
New York Groove.
Tossin' and Turnin'.
And Paul's was what? Move On. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, on Ace's album, it was Rip It Out.
Well, hold on.
Oh.
No, you did say Ace's album. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's Alan not paying attention again.
Yeah. So anyway, Ace's album had Rippin' Out, Speeding Back to My Baby, Snowblind, Ozone, What's on Your Mind, New York Groove, which was a cover by Russ Ballard, I'm in Need of Love, Wiped Out, and Fractured Mirror. I think this is just typical Ace songs. They're good. I mean, Ace wrote, there's a couple on here I'm not really keen on. I know What's on Your Mind, I'm not a big, and Fractured Mirror, I don't care what version of Fractured Mirror you got, 1, 2, or 3, I don't care. Instrumentals,
I'm not a big fan of
they go along with drum solos, but I'm in Need of Love. I mean, Snowblind, Ozone, those are great songs. I've listened to this album a lot. Like I said, I had the picture disc, and you've seen it here on the thing, but I think I had the 8-track of that also. But I listen to this album a lot. I like it.
Well, the Ace Frehley solo album is my number 1 solo album. I don't like the Fractured Mirror. I'm not a fan of Ozone. And I'm not a fan of the Foo Fighters cover of Ozone either. And
blasphemy.
What's on Your Mind is another one that I'm not a big fan of, but the rest of the album I think is great.
Right.
But of course it's the band was already fracturing, and this just kind of helped cement that fracture a little more. Made the crack in the wall a more like a gash.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I said that Ace was my number 1 solo, right?
Right.
I don't even pay attention to myself, folks.
I listened to that again last night, and
oh, real quick clarification. I said What's on Your Mind. I meant Snowblind and Ozone. I don't like those two. Okay. I do like What's on Your Mind. Sorry.
So I listened to it again. Was it last night or the night before? I can't remember. They're starting to run together, but it inched up. It is so close to number 1.
Is it?
Paul's is still number 1, but man, it is right knocking on the door. And I think it's just because I like that song. I mean, I liked that album before. I mean, that was my numbers really haven't changed since 1978.
Right.
But that's a really good, solid record. I mean,
it is. It is.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't like guitar solo records anyway. I mean, I just don't from typically anybody. But that's really a pretty good record. I mean, that's a pretty good rock record all the way through. And when he left Kiss, that was the stuff that he did, and I liked that stuff too. It was definitely in the same groove. It definitely,
and he had the same drummer.
And he had the same drummer, Anton Fig. So I mean, I really did like that record, and I like Ozone. I like most of those. I mean, I like most of those songs. So
well, and like you said, it was true to what he's done after he left Kiss. He just didn't make this crap up and record an album. I mean, this is what he writes, because every album he's done since then, except for this new Origins, he's wrote the same type material. He wrote the
songs on Origins,
right? And
I think that's true of the solo albums of the people that were in the band.
Right.
The successful ones are the ones that end up. I don't know. That didn't make sense. So you can't edit that out. But I think Ace remained relevant for a while after he left Kiss with Frehley's Comet, because the songs sounded like Kiss songs to a degree, right? Peter fell off the planet because they sounded like Peter Criss solo album, and they were garbage, so they just fell off the planet. Paul. I mean, we're gonna talk about Paul. Paul's you just change the title of the album and it's just Kiss, because it sounds like a Kiss record, but it's supposed to sound like a Kiss record, because how is it going to sound different? It's
right.
Anyway, we're going to get to
that. Getting next to the last album that I bought, and it actually took me a while. I didn't buy this album until the year after. Got it on 8-track, and the reason, and there's a little backstory real quick on this one. Paul, up until this point in Kiss, was never my favorite ever. I mean, Paul was about he equaled Peter Criss in my like. When you think of Kiss, I was always a big Gene fan, or I was a big Ace fan. Paul, to me, we know now it wasn't the way it was, but he seemed arrogant. He seemed this, he was always this prima donna acting, kind of person. It always just turned me off, and I never was a big Paul fan, and that's why I didn't buy this album till last. But then you get this album and you go, holy shit. I mean, Paul is Kiss. I mean, there's no like Bill said, scrub off his name on the side where it says Kiss in the corner. It's a Kiss album. It is. I mean, there is not a bad song on that album. And like I said, it's been my number one since I got that album, and it's continued to stay that way. And as much as I like Ace's album, this has been my favorite. Like I say, the track listing on that, Tonight You Belong to Me, Move On, Ain't Quite Right, Would You Like to Know Me, Take Me Away, Together as One, It's All Right, Hold Me, Touch Me, Love and Chains, and Goodbye. I mean, that is a solid 35 minutes and 10 seconds of music. I mean,
mostly.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's some that aren't as good as others, but it beats anything on Peter's album, period. The worst song is better than the best song on Peter's album. And so anyway, that's my take on that one. Go for it, guys.
Well, after I listened to the Paul Stanley album today, it moved from number 3 to number 2 for me. That's another one that I hadn't listened to in a long time, because for whatever reason, the Paul Stanley solo album, even though it is very much Kiss-like, didn't grab me all that well. And I think it may be that I heard some of the songs, Love and Chains, I didn't like that one very well. What was the one on the album you said before that?
Hold Me, Touch Me.
Hold Me, Touch Me.
Ballady.
Yeah. I think he tried too hard to be a balladeer I think he writes better rock songs.
Right.
Of course, I say that, and A Million to One is one of my favorite Paul Stanley songs ever. But yeah, overall, this album moved to number 2 for me, and as I listen to it again, I'll probably be listening to it some more this week.
That's what's kind of cool about going through and doing what we're doing now, because here all three of us have had a change in our of what we like on the albums. That's
We're
what's kind
getting
of cool.
old, damn it.
I know, and like I said,
It's an
Gene
appreciation thing. I
Gene
think now,
doesn't. You know, like I said, that Gene solo was a great album to me a long time ago, and now I'm like going, what the hell was I ever thinking about? This is terrible. This is a turd.
all right, so the Paul Stanley album for me was, I liked that album from the minute I unwrapped it and
Right.
and put it on, and I still like it today. I still have some of the songs on my phone. I listen to it still today. Got to see him on a solo tour for Live to Win, and he played 3 or 4 cuts off of it, and it was great. I mean, it was just awesome to see him actually get to do them, because I never got to see the tour that he did. You know, they all did. You know, some of them did a little mini tour to support those anyway, but I never got to see that. But that to me was, I knew at that point in time that no matter who thought they were the person in the band, it dawned on me when I heard that's he's the he.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, when he leaves, if that should happen, then we're in trouble. And the interesting thing was, you know, I think I thought I would like the albums in the way I liked the members of the band, and it didn't work out that way for me.
I was completely opposite for me.
I have always been a huge Gene Simmons fan.
Yeah.
I've always been the fan of the Demon. I have always been that way. And his album was something that it was number 2 until really I listened to the Ace Frehley album the other night, and it flipped. And then Ace even nudged up even more. But I just, and because I liked his persona, I mean, that was really what it was. And I really thought I liked that record. And when it came out, it was, you know, I liked the record because it was Gene at the time, because of my age, not necessarily because of the music factor, probably. Because now it's not, it's like, it's just, I don't care for it as much as I used to. But the Paul one is solid through and through. And I would listen to the Ace and Gene's album. I mean, Ace and Paul's album anytime. No problem. And the other 2 I would listen to if you guys make me. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not. So I think the interesting story for me was I got all 4 of them for Christmas.
Oh, you're one of the rich kids. Oh, yeah.
My dad got them for me. It was, and you know what? That's all I asked for. What do you want for Christmas? I want 4 Kiss records. So think about that.
So when you
that's all I wanted.
How did you listen? How did you listen to them when you pulled them out of the thing? Did you listen to them? What order did you listen to them? And did you listen to them in full, or did you flip side for another side?
Oh, God, I don't know. I remember listening to Gene's first because I had to open it up first.
Yeah, I had to buy Gene's first.
I mean, I remember opening it up because I remember opening it up, and the first thing happens, you pull out, and there's this poster. And it's like, wait a minute. Now there's a poster and another one. So you had to open it up, open up the other poster, and you get them all laid out there, and then you start taping it together so you can hang it on your wall because you're an idiot. Right. You have no idea how much it might be
terrible. That was a terrible poster, though.
It was
really, it was an ugly poster. It was horrible.
But that was for me. I mean, I definitely listened to Gene first, Paul second, and then I listened to Peter eventually because I just didn't. He was never somebody that really did anything for me.
Yeah, he was
his character didn't do anything for me. He just never did anything for me.
No, I was never a big Peter fan, and I was the same way with Paul. That's what's so weird about it. Paul never did shit for me until that point. And anyway.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on.
Moving on.
All righty.
Oh, we're going to talk about that disco record, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to talk
about 2 disco songs on that stupid thing. It does not make it a disco record.
I'm going to tell you one thing right now.
I like Dynasty. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
Dynasty was the album that I had a friend of mine from kindergarten on, and we were the biggest, we were Kiss buddies, and we both got, we got Alive one both for Christmas. We were all ready. We were all just. Dynasty was the one that sent him going. He's like, I'm done. I'm just completely done. And it shook my tree too. When we got this, I thought, okay, great, we're all 4 back. And I went that first song you put, here I'll just start here from. It was 1979. May 23rd, 1979. Where are we at here? Reception. It was It was actually the highest charting. It went to 9 on the Billboard charts, on the album charts. The Where am I at here? Damn it, where am I at? This was not a good idea. I should have did it this way. There we go. Title, the tracks: "I Was Made for Loving You," 2000 Man, "Sure Know Something," "Dirty Livin'," "Charisma," "Magic Touch," "Hard Times," "X-Ray Eyes," and "Save Your Love." Now, something interesting on here. Notice that Ace got 3 songs in this album. Now, was that because of the solo albums?
Or
Could
was
be.
it because Gene didn't have very many songs to give?
That could be too. Gene just blew his load on his on his solo album. So anyway, but anyway, that was for me. This album was, like I said, it was a deal. It hurt. It's one of those deals where when you're a Kiss fan, especially in high school, and you're always putting up for the band. It's like, no, they're really great. They're really good. Oh, you're one of those Kiss guys, and then they put this shit out, and it's like, God, okay. No, it's a good disco song, dudes. Really, really, it's a great disco song. And the other thing was about Dynasty that I didn't like. The costumes I thought were that's when they got this over the top. Peter's got these fucking monkey things on his sleeves. Ace has got this huge, thing going on over here. Gene's boots, they look like big things of tin foil with these big tooths out of the front. I just didn't get it. I was very disappointed when Dynasty, it was always the return of Kiss. Dynasty wasn't the return of Kiss for me. I mean, at all.
We're going to talk about that, though.
What's that?
We're going to talk about that, though.
Right.
The return of Kiss.
Exactly. But anyway, no, as far as the songs on here, the things that stand out for me on this album, I do like "Sure Know Something." That's one of my favorite songs off this album.
Which has a recycled riff on it.
Right. But the things that I like most about this, I like "Hard Times" and "Save Your Love." Those 2 songs, those Fraley songs, are so kick-ass. The leads on them are not your typical Ace leads. They're not these, this typical chords or notes that he plays. They're actually kind of melodic, kind of nice. I mean, I love those 2 songs. That's what makes the album for me. Rest of it, I can throw out.
One of the shining moments on that album for me was Magic Touch.
Yeah, it's not a bad song.
Magic Touch I thought was a really good song. Hard Times is a really good song. Yeah. And a lot of people don't like it, but I really like Dirty Livin'.
That's all right.
For Peter's last contribution to Kiss, I thought that was pretty good.
And supposedly that's the only thing he played on this album.
That's
the
way I understand it as well.
Anton played drums on everything else, and I think that was the only thing that he sang and played drums on. I mean, that was it.
But I also really dig Charisma. So each member of the band put at least one song on there that I like, or that I really like. I also I do like X-Ray Eyes. It's kind of a corny song, but I still love that song.
See, I don't get that one. I don't know. It's another one of Gene's. I don't know. I didn't quite get it.
Better than When You Wish Upon a Star.
You got that one right.
For sure. That's all I've got to say about that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, for me, I didn't think it was a bad album. I remember getting it and putting it on because Sure Know Something was. I mean, I Was Made for Loving You was already out, so I'd already heard that. I remember that.
So
piece.
It wasn't an old shit moment when you opened it then.
Well, no, not really. I mean, but I was hoping there was something else on there that's list. And it's not that I don't care for it's not that I don't care for I Was Made for Loving You. It's just not a Kiss. It's not a song that I would want. I want from that band. But other than that, I mean, that song is something that I just don't really care a lot for. And Charisma is a song I just never really cared for. And it for me, it's the Charisma. And it just seemed like it just, I don't know. It was so kind of hokey. That was the hope for me. That was hokey. And X-Ray Eyes, the riff in that at the beginning I think is really cool. Dun 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 dun.
Right.
I mean, I totally agree with that. And I like the Ace songs. I mean, I think it was cool, and I do think that I believe that Ace got a few more songs on there because his record did did really, really well. And I do think there was some to that, and I think that was probably part of a deal.
Right.
Oh, speaking of the Ace songs, I think Ace did a real good job of making 2000 Man his own song.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Yeah,
I never even heard.
I didn't know for a long time that it was a Rolling Stone song until my friend Bob sent me an MP3 and he's like, "Check this out, man." And I was like, "Wait a minute." But anyway,
yeah, I didn't know.
Yep.
I didn't know it was a cover either for a long time. But
All
that's
right.
awesome. All right. Well, anyway, but like I said, that was supposedly the beginning of the new Kiss. But like you said, Peter had nothing to do with this. We had basically a sit-in drummer for the whole thing, which brings us now to Unmasked. Unmasked was released on May 20th, 1980. It was like I said, their 8th album. It actually went 35 on the Billboard charts. I remember when this come out. Well, and they had Shandy and Talk to Me and Tomorrow were actually 3 releases off there. They tried to go the single route. I know in Australia, I know that this song, I guess this album went. Well, they toured Australia with this album, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what kind of made it big over there, I think. But anyway, title tracks is That You, Shandy, Talk to Me, Naked City, What Makes the World Go Round, Tomorrow, Two Sides of the Cone, Cone,
Two sides of the coin.
Two Sides of the Coin.
Cone. Two
How
sides
did
of
I
the
get
two sides of the corn.
Two sides of the coin. Here, there we go. She's So European, Easy as It Seems, Torpedo Girl, and You're All That I Want. Personally, this album should make me throw up, but I actually love this album. I will. When we had to go back and re-listen to a lot of these records, this is one I really didn't have to re-listen to because I listen to it all the time. I actually like this album. It's a little different. I'm not keen on She's So European. I think that's a stupid song.
Horrible.
And horrible. And I'm not a big Torpedo Girl guy. But the rest of it, you know what? That's some good songs on there. And the thing is, they're not Kiss songs per se. And I wish that they would re-record this album with a little bit, or somebody would go back and re-record this with heavier. You know what I'm saying? Just make it a little heavier because it is kind of,
crunch it up.
Yeah, crunch it up a little bit. Because I think every one of these songs could be remade to make it sound really kick-ass. But, so it's one of those ones where Dynasty already got me. I knew where they were going, or I didn't know where they were going, but I knew that they weren't on a right track. So this next album, I didn't know what to expect, and I was pleased. So anyway, that's my take on it.
Unmasked has always been in my bottom 4 or 5.
Really?
I make myself listen to this album once a year, and usually I hear something in it and it's like, oh, that's not so bad. I listened to it again today while I was at work.
Right.
And I have to say, with the exception of She's So European and Torpedo Girl, I actually found myself enjoying the album today.
There you go.
So there you go, Jason. You can quit bitching at me because I think it's a horrible album.
But it's funny that we picked the same songs. Those are 2 songs that I just don't think are.
Well, the only
good.
thing that I don't like about Torpedo Girl is the lyrics.
The lyrics are stupid.
Because musically the song is fine.
Yeah.
It's what you would expect from Ace.
It's got a weird way it's put together.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool. It's kind of got a cool hook. But the lyrics are so stupid. I mean, they're like, really?
Yeah.
Did you let like a little kid?
Well, he's not really singing about a torpedo, right, Dennis?
Well, oh, now it makes sense. that.
Oh,
Bill,
but there
fill
you
us
go.
in.
Okay, so Unmasked was not one of my not an album that I listened to a lot, but when I listened to this the other day, I was like, this is pretty good stuff. Actually, I listened to it a couple weeks ago because when I got my turntable back out, we listened to this one day, and I remember when I got this album though, that thinking we've turned into cartoons because of the cover. I was pissed.
This is the worst cover of any Kiss album.
Mad. I was like, we went from wearing.
Yeah.
I kind of so I didn't talk about this. I kind of thought the Dynasty costumes were. I kind of thought they were kind of cool that they looked very different than the other ones.
Yeah.
Only because the other ones had all looked very similar, and those were very different. Now, because it kind of even took the personas and it kind of even put them on a little different pedestal. It gave them, it took the colors from the solo albums and it kind of went through. Now, Gene's costume to me looked ridiculous and looked like somebody had put together a football pads and it's glued some crap on them, and it looked horrible. But I thought Ace's looked pretty cool. I thought Peter's kind of, Paul's looked like you would expect Paul to look, as a little bit flamboyant. And Peter's didn't matter because he never wore that crap anyway, so it didn't really matter. It was only for photo shoots. And I liked the capes and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of cool. It was the superhero thing, right? Which is kind of how I kind of thought they were, but it didn't put them a little different. But when we got to Unmasked, they changed the costumes again, and they just got worse. I thought it was like I didn't understand, I didn't get it, and it was just bad.
Well, the costumes are one thing that I never paid that much attention to them, I guess.
Yeah.
Their faces look the same, and I think that's all that mattered to me.
I don't know that, that's not true. I don't think the costumes changed for Unmasked. Did they?
No, they were the same as they used on.
Because they didn't tour. They only toured in Europe. I mean, in Australia, right? So I think it was the same ones. But
they used the ones from Dynasty. Dynasty,
yeah.
They used that same ones.
But they went straight. The album, which I thought was just horrible. I remember pulling it out of the bin, going, "Good God, what have they done?" And I was like, "Hopefully, this will be better than it looks." And I remember listening to it the first time, and I really didn't get it, and it got put away for a very, very, very long time. And actually, the song that got me listening to this again was Shandy. Because they've done it on a couple of live things, and I was like, it's just different, and I kind of liked it. So, I am not a She's a European fan.
Oh, no.
I mean, I don't understand why. Sometimes I think in this era they were to the point where people were not telling them they were doing stupid shit, and somebody should have said that's a stupid song. It doesn't make sense, and it's just a stupid song.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Torpedo, I agree with you guys. We're all three going to agree on this. I think Torpedo Girl is the next stupid song.
Yeah. I mean, does it get to the point where people get so big and so famous and everything that everybody's scared to death to tell them? It's like going,
absolutely.
Gene, that's the worst fucking thing you've ever done. Or Ace.
Fired next.
Read the Kiss and Tell book. You read the Kiss and Tell book. It's exactly what it says in there. Those guys, Chris Linton, those guys. That was their job. They were the yes men.
Now tell me this. Which is worse, When You Wish Upon a Star or She's So European?
When You Wish Upon a Star. Because I just can't stand it. It's not my guy.
They're probably the same people that song. It's the same people that put these, on the songs on these other albums we've talked about before. Like it's just somebody should sit down and go, you know what, guys, I love you and all, but you know what, this song sucks. You just
Who produced that album? Do you know?
On which one? Unmasked? That was. I had it right here. Hold on a second. Unmasked was produced by Vinny
Poncia.
Yeah, Vinny Poncia.
Of course he's gonna like it. He co-wrote every freaking song on it.
And see, Vinny also was Peter's. He produced Peter's solo album too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was just it's bad.
Yeah, so it's okay, and I've listened to it. I do like Naked City.
Right. And like I said, this is one of these ones that this album grows on me as time goes by. I appreciate it a little bit more. I don't know why. I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool. But there again, in my mind, I keep going, this song was, I'd like to re-record some of these songs myself, or hell, maybe I get Alan together one of these days and we'll,
Get Amy on the drums.
there you go. We'll throw a couple of these on here. But I think it can be done. I think it could be done real cool. Well, anyway, Bill, you ready?
It's your favorite album, Bill?
It's your favorite album, Bill. All right. Kiss. November 10th, 1981. They unleashed something. Dun 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 dun. What was funny was they released The Elder. I remember seeing this record at Target, and I'm like looking at it, going, "Is this? I mean, this isn't a Kiss album." I had to like, "Are you sure this isn't a Kiss album, is it?" I'm like, "Hey, come here a minute. Can you ask?" I didn't buy it at first. I never, and actually, the first time I ever heard it was, other than what they released through when we seen the live versions of the few songs that they had. A World Without Heroes and I'd never even heard it till I borrowed it from you, Bill, and I borrowed your album and listened to it. And like I said, this was 81, so that would have been 83 or 84 before I actually listened to the album. Like I said, it was in November 81. Where am I at? Oh, damn it. Track listing. All right. So anyway, we start out with The Oath, Fanfare, Just a Boy, Dark Light, Only You. What are you doing? Fuck you guys. Under the Rose, A World Without Heroes,
living room.
Mr. Blackwell, Escape from the Island, Odyssey, and the finale. Now, you know what? You guys are talking while I'm doing this. Somebody might miss out on some, like.
I never said a word.
They might. Probably not. But they might.
Anyway,
well, Dennis,
I listened to this.
Do you even realize
again.
why we are laughing?
No, I don't know, but I'm sure you're going to tell me. What?
You belched.
Oh, I know I belched. I belch all the time. I farted earlier. Did you hear that one too? No.
I'm not wearing pants.
Yeah, we've been through the pants thing. Bill went to dirt. And Bill's via his bedroom tonight too, and that's why he got the white on white look going on.
No, it's green. It doesn't look white on there because it's actually
looks
green.
white. Yeah,
it looks white.
It's green.
All right. Anyway, back to music from the Elder.
We're almost done here. Music from the Elder.
Let's just keep talking. I don't want to talk about this.
No, honestly,
shitstorm.
this is another one of these ones where it's not a Kiss album, but I actually love this album. I can listen to it. I listen to it all the time. But under the pretense that you have to take out Mr. Blackwell, because that's the stupidest Gene song ever.
Except for She's So European.
And then, yeah, exactly. I go with that one too. I also Dark Light. I fucking hate that song. That's an Ace song that I can do without.
It's the only song I think's worth anything on the whole album.
And then only you. You take those three songs out, the rest of the album's good. And you know what? Kiss
just castrated that album, dude.
Kiss just missed out on the fact of that they should have, when they had the symphony orchestra, they should have at least tried to pull out one of these songs. I mean, they did. Remember in Las Vegas here a while back, they pulled out. Was it Odyssey? They did.
They did
one of them.
They? No, they did. They did.
The Oath. Yeah, I think it was
the Oath.
But I mean, why didn't they try one of these things with the symphony orchestra? Or maybe they did and they didn't tell us, and it didn't go over good. I don't know. But no, I like this album. It's just but it's not a Kiss album. It's not where I'm not going to listen to it when I'm ready to rock balls or bang my head. It's just one of these things where every once in a while, you know what? I'm going to listen a little bit of the Elder. It's not a bad record. It's not a good Kiss record. It's not a bad record. It's okay. I'm done.
It's in my top 5 Kiss records, and I agree that it is not a Kiss record, but it is a good record.
Right.
I kind of sort of agree with you. I think Mr. Blackwell is
It's a
probably
stupid
is
song.
in my opinion, it's the weakest song on the album.
Yes.
But knowing that this is supposed to be a concept album,
Sure.
and kind of following the really loose flow of the story,
Right.
it fits with the whole album for me. So I mean, I can listen to that from beginning to end and not think
Okay.
twice about it. Now that is, I didn't hear The Elder until probably '86 or '87,
Right.
and a friend of mine, he was in Evansville and he found it and he took it home and he listened to the first two or three songs and then he brought it over to my house and he said,
Here.
"Here, take this piece of shit. I don't want it." But I read because it talked about the story. There's a little paragraph in there or something that kind of gives you a pretense to the story.
Sure.
So that probably helped make my imagination flow and made me put a story in my head that flowed along with the music. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. Because you didn't listen to it as a rock album. You knew that it was going to be a concept album. So you sit there kind of going, okay, here's the pretense of the story. Now I'm going to listen to the music and let's see what we can do with it. Oh, I understand that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
All right, Bill.
Bill, come on, just lay it out there.
I was very intrigued by the cover. I thought the cover was very cool. I thought it was the first album. The first album. It was the first regular album that did not have their faces on it, right?
Right.
Of some type, even Unmasked had their faces on it. So I thought this is kind of cool. It's going to be, I expect it to be a little bit different. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, and I remember dropping the needle and going, "What on earth have they done?" They went from Dynasty, that was a disco record, to Unmasked, that was a shitty record, to this that is just absolute garbage. And that was it. I was done. I mean, it took me a long time to listen to that record because I just couldn't stand it. I couldn't get past the fact that somebody sounded like they had Paul Stanley's nuts in a vice and were squeezing them so he could sing that high. I just didn't get it. I don't want to hear a concept album. I do not. I never, ever, ever. I do not want to hear a concept album. I want to listen to music to enjoy it, enjoy the tracks that are different, and I want people to do different things, and I want to move on. I do not want to have to try to figure out what the freaking story is. That's called a movie. Make me a movie, I'll watch the movie. But I don't want to do that with a record. To me,
you know what?
Your opinion there kind of flows into the next album too.
But you know what though about the Elder also, the thing that I know that it didn't bother you, Alan, because you didn't care about it, but it was the haircuts.
I couldn't stand the
new look.
Totally, the look was.
The thing was that the music didn't shock me as much as the look did. I mean, Gene
got rid of
lost
his little
hair
up there,
and they had all their
chainmail.
I was pissed.
Yeah. The
reason I don't like this album is that album pissed me off. It pissed me, and it obviously still pisses me off.
I mean, Paul cut his hair short. I mean, it's probably the hair that they were probably for one time not wearing wigs and not, dolling themselves up. They were kind of just being normal. But
I don't think they were wearing wigs back then. Good Lord, they were 20-some years old.
Right. I don't know, but didn't.
It just.
But that time that they were on Fridays. That time when they did World Without Heroes, which I think that's a really good song.
Okay, so there are a couple songs on here that I do think are decent songs. I think World Without Heroes is a decent song. I do like that song.
And the song "I" is a good Kiss song, actually.
I like "I" to a point, but it gets on my nerves.
Oh, I can understand where that gets to.
And then I like "Dark Light."
See,
I think that to me is probably the truest Kiss song on this entire record.
I agree with that.
That is the only real Kiss song on this entire record.
I don't like that.
And actually, when I listened to it the other day, a couple weeks ago, I cranked that song up. I thought it was really a pretty good song. And then, and if I was Ace after they made this record, I'd have left too.
Yeah.
Because I'd have looked at that band and went, "You guys have lost your freaking minds."
Now here's something. How do you think Eric Carr felt when they went in the studio to make this album?
Well, and
what have I gotten myself into?
That's why I just brought up, the fact of that between Unmasked and Elder, you got Peter leaving. Well, Peter was already gone basically. But then you got Eric Carr coming in. He's like going, "Man, I'm in Kiss, the biggest band in the world," and Okay, now you got to play Under the
What?
Rose. It's like what? Dun, dun.
It's
Yeah,
just
I'm sure it was a downer for him. But there again, I think that's why the next thing we're going to talk about became what it did. You
God.
know
You
what I'm
could you
saying?
couldn't go any further down. It's just
So
not
at that,
possible.
Well, we
so are
need
we
to
done?
hurry up. We need to hurry up and get to the next album because I've never seen Bill look this
All
distressed
right,
before.
all right. We were at the
Okay.
last album of our second portion of the Kiss uh, discology that we're talking about here, discography, whatever you want to call it, the thing. And this album here, I remember after the Elder and the other, like I said, failures of what Kiss is going to do. I remember I got the cassette of this album, of Creatures of the Night, and I remember putting it in and turning it on, and I don't think I've ever been excited about a Kiss record
Those bombastic
since
drums.
Destroyer. I mean, since when I bought my first Kiss album, I don't think I've ever been as excited when I put Creatures in. And it was one of these ones where I was like, after I got done listening to it, every friend I went like, they're back, they're back. You know, I'm taking it around going, you got jump in my car. You got to hear this. You got to hear this
Right.
shit. I mean, I was thrilled to death. I mean that.
I
I
am
mean,
pretty sure. I am pretty sure if you drove by GD Ritzy's anytime in 1984,
we
if there
were
were two
standing there.
cars in the parking lot, one of them had Creatures of the Night on. Actually, I would bet that both of them had it on, and one of them was just on a different track than the other one.
Exactly. But no, anyway, so October 13th, 1982 is when it came out.
Oh, 82.
And
Sorry.
80, actually, I was still in high school. It was I remember because I bought it, and we came down to the World of Wheels car show, and everybody jumped in my car to come down to that, and I had it in my track, and I was like, going, "You bitches are going to listen to Kiss on the way down." Oh, Kiss!
You know
And by the
what?
time we got
84. I
in
was
there,
thinking of Lick It Up because Lick It Up was the same way. So
exactly. But anyway, you got Creatures of the Night, Saint and Sinner, Keep It Coming, Rock and Roll Hell, Danger, I Love It Loud, I Still Love You, Killer, and War Machine. Now, you take two songs out of this album, it's a perfect album. I mean, seriously. You could take two of these out and stick in a couple of the Peter Criss solo songs, and it's still a perfect album. No, I ain't gonna go that far. But there's two songs on here that they are
he's
skippable.
lost his mind, people. He's lost his mind.
And you know what? One of them is just in the fact of that I've just heard it so much, I'm just burnt on it. The
I
other one,
still
I
love
just,
you.
oh no, I love that song.
Oh, that's surprising. I figured they
No,
played that one on tour so long.
and I love it. Oh, I tell you what, when we went to the conventions, the official Kiss conventions, Paul saying that, I've got it on videotape. It's shaky as hell because
I was
I'm just,
there with you, dude.
yeah,
We just
but
didn't know each other.
that's true. Man, he tore it up. No, the two songs is I Love It Loud, which I've just heard it so many times. I just never want to hear it again. And the other one's War Machine. I just don't like War Machine. Never did, never will.
Oh,
Sorry.
so you don't want to play on my recording then, huh?
Well, I can play it. I know how to play it. I mean, I can play it on guitar. That's one of the first songs I learned on here, but I just didn't because it was so easy.
Yeah.
But no, the rest of them on here, I tell you what, and this is where I think too. I was listening to it. This was the last one I listened to. I actually listened to it while I was cooking up some chicken earlier. Um, Paul Stanley's voice on here, man, keep it coming and danger. I mean, he's in that range. I love this album. Sorry. I mean, this one here brought me back to Kiss. I mean, it was where, thank God, you know, I'm going to forgive you for the last three. You know? Anyway, Alan, go for it.
Creatures is in my top five. So far, we've in the past two Kiss related episodes, we've hit on three of my top five: Hotter Than Hell, Creatures of the Night, and Music from the Elder.
Right.
I would say for me on Creatures of the Night, the weakest song on there, or the one I like the least, is "Keep Me Coming," and that one and "Read My Body Off a Hot in the Shade." Those are kind of the same in the groove that they've got, I guess, or maybe the subject matter. course, that's pretty much Kiss sings about sex and rock and roll, and occasionally alcohol.
All right.
But I mean, yeah,
Would you like a taste of alcohol?
I agree that's the one that when I got, I force fed all my friends.
Yeah.
I have a young friend. Well, he's a lot younger than I am, but he was an intern at the first place that I worked when I got out of the Air Force, and he was asking me about Kiss. So I brought him my Creatures of the Night, and I'm like,
Yeah.
listen to this first.
Yeah, you don't give him the elder and say,
No,
here.
I did
Here's
not give
the
him
Kiss,
the
right?
other, but I gave him that, and now he's a diehard Kiss fan with the rest of us. So,
Yeah.
Scott's wife, sorry, but going back to what you were saying about the Dynasty and then Unmasked and then the Elder, I think the reason that the Creatures of the Night album didn't have good record sales and that the tours were such flops is because the last three albums were so bad.
Oh yeah.
All of their original fans were gone.
Right.
Yep.
They're like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me three times. Well, there's another.
And the other
story
thing,
there,
real
I'm
quick,
sure.
I didn't mean to interrupt on you here, but I forgot to bring it up when I was talking about it. When I started listening to this album, and back in the day, we didn't have internet. All we had was what you read in Hit Parader, which was 6 months old, and all this other shit. The news that we got. When I first heard this album, I go, "That's not Ace." Ace. I'm looking at Ace's pictures on the front, but that's not Ace's guitar.
Yeah.
I know Paul doesn't play like that. I knew at that point Ace was gone. I mean, it was just from the first time hearing it, I knew that Ace wasn't on that album.
Well,
Too clean.
That's the same with Dynasty and Unmasked. You could tell the drums.
Peter wasn't. Yeah,
those weren't Peter Criss either.
No,
Yeah.
but that was definite. Whenever that came out, I go, I don't know who's on this guitar.
But it ain't Ace.
I didn't know it was a woman named Vinny, but
I'm glad you said that a second before you did. Woo!
Oh, damn it!
We had water everywhere.
But
missed
yeah,
your
no,
opportunity.
But anyway, go ahead. I'm
All
gonna
right. So
I forgot
for
about
me,
it.
I love this record. I love the beginning, the middle, and the end, and everything in between.
There you go.
Every single song on it, and I remember screaming in my room when I heard the very beginning of Creatures of the Night. I was like,
Oh,
these drums are awesome. My boys are back. Somebody gave them their balls back because somebody stole them and threw them out in the trash.
no shit.
Did Cher have them in her purse, or was
Somebody
it Diana
had them
Ross?
because, my God.
There's no disco balls. There's nothing
no
with
disco
this record.
balls. There's no ping pong balls. There's no hair balls. There
we
was
got rock
just
balls
some
now.
badass rock right there. So I love this. I love this record. And, when I'm in my room downstairs, that's one of the albums that's hanging behind me. And for me, it was and actually the album cover was part of it too for me. We got back to an album cover that was cool. That album cover was cool.
Yeah,
I thought the Dynasty
those
album
glowing
cover was
eyes are badass.
Glowing eyes are badass. I really thought the Dynasty album cover was cool with the four heads. I thought that was pretty cool. And then the graphic they did. If you guys have seen the video of the four guys from Dynasty where they're stacked on top of each other and they're moving around and stuff. That's pretty cool. But this album cover just rocked. Now I don't remember thinking that's not Ace Frehley, but I knew that there was things going on. So I knew that at the time.
Right.
But I just thought I was so impressed with Eric Carr's drumming. I was just so impressed. You've heard the stories
loud.
that they got that sound because they put the drum kit in a bathroom and it made it sound so much bigger. And I just love this record, and I love all of it. And I've heard they've done. I mean, I remember going to this show, and I remember there being 5,000 people at Robert Stadium,
Right.
and I didn't care because I was in there and I was in the front, and that's all that mattered. And this is one of my favorite records. It's definitely in the top 3, 4 for sure. And it finally got the guys back on track. And unfortunately, they didn't stay on that track very long because
That's what
Gene
that's
got a
what
little distracted. So,
right.
but I thought it was. I thought.
Paul
To be honest
is
with you, I think if they wouldn't have done this record, if this wouldn't have been the next record,
Oh,
we
they
would
would
have
have been
talked
done.
about this.
they would have been done.
It would not have been. There would be no more.
If it had been the music from the
Elder
Elder 2,
It'd
we've
been
been
over.
done.
It'd been over.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
I think, and that's a great place to end this segment because
It is.
that
I mean,
is,
it brought it back to Kiss. Now, what are they going to do at this point? We'll have to see.
You'll find out in the next Kiss episode.
actually they put out some pretty good stuff.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the wheels are going to come off on me.
I'm telling you what, we've been past the Bill hates that album stage, and we're back to deal with everything. I can deal with everything else. All the rest of it is fine with me. I just those.
Now, like I said, on this next third, these are going to be. I'm going to be listening to some stuff I have not listened to in years. So it's going to be interesting because and there again, it may be surprising. Like today, I found some. After the last couple of days, there's last week when we've been listening to these. I've listened to stuff and appreciated a lot of stuff a lot more, and didn't like stuff as much as I used to like. And like I said, I just listened to Creatures earlier tonight, and it's like, God damn, that's a good album.
Yeah, I listened to that too.
I was cranking it in the garage. I had it going like you said, that first song.
That's a great opening song. I mean, I love it when they open with that. You're
just like going, okay,
yeah, there's shit blowing up, and there's stuff, and it's awesome.
Post-apocalyptic.
I like it.
There you go.
Actually,
anyway,
did they not open Revenge with that song? I think they did, right? I think they opened the Revenge tour with Creatures.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
At least that's the way Alive 3 is.
Tour book.
I'm pretty sure it is. I saw that tour a couple times actually because I liked it.
Look at the tour book though. There's Creatures was actually the opening song for quite a long time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Hey, before we leave, I know real quick. Did you hear the news today? The stupid shit that's going on. Everybody's reporting it. That
Axl's gonna sing for AC/DC.
That's such bullshit. That ain't gonna happen. There's no. I mean,
cares?
Every news agency in the world every rock thing has picked that shit up. I've seen.
Well, that's only supposed to be for like 3 or 4 albums.
What's that?
Or not 3 or 4 albums, 3 or 4 songs. Man, that must have just set Bill off.
He's Bill's like, I'm out of here. I'm done.
That is funny.
Yeah, he's BA now. He's Bill last.
He's gone. Let's see if I can get him back on here.
Yeah, why don't you see if you get back on, then we can.
Nope, he's gone. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I guess we were done.
You know what? We're done. You want to say anything bad about Bill while we can, while he's not on here?
Yeah, Bill doesn't know good music if he doesn't like music from the Elder.
That's right. We like the Elder, so you know what? We're going to put that on. That's going to be on Bill's top 5.
See, now Dennis is going to drop out next week when we're talking about the Unmasked albums. And we're going to give him some shit, too. So,
yeah.
All right.
It's been fun.
Peace out.
See ya.
Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts, Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are 3 guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!